Alright, a bit of a quick one for you guys today, but I do want to talk about a topic that has been quite present over the past week and kind of give my own personal thoughts on the situation. And if you didn't know already from the title, it's about the potential or the want of a remake of the Resident Evil remake, which is already weird saying it out loud. So after the success of Resident Evil 2, 3 and 4 remake, people are wanting to see the original game remade in the same style as 2, 3 and 4, so third person over the shoulder RE engine style game. I personally disagree, to be honest. I think the remake we have is brilliant. I think it really kind of captures the original game, makes it fresh. Obviously the controls are still quote unquote tank controls, but they're a bit more manageable because obviously you can use the analog. The graphics are better. I do honestly think the fixed camera angles work really well for the original game, and I think doing a third-person perspective for that game will kind of throw the kind of intensity out the window a little bit. Honestly, I think the best way to go, if you were to do a remake for Resident Evil, and you were going to keep it pretty much exactly the same, I think first-person would be better than third-person. Look at the gameplay in the background, look how compact the corridors are. Like, in a third-person perspective, you're not going to be able to see past Chris's back. Like, it isn't going to be possible. Obviously they could widen the corridors and stuff, but then that kind of throws out the intensity of having one zombie in front of you that you can't get past, you know? I think that would really throw off some of the intense moments in the game, because there is a lot of them, you know, 1, 2 zombies in the original game can really throw you for a loop in a small corridor. So I think having it in, you know, a third person perspective but wider areas would kind of ruin it. First person, on the other hand, you are still boxed in with them, you can't see around you, which makes it even more scary, and again, it keeps the areas quite compact because you're seeing it through your character's eyes, and I just think it would be better that way. Goes without saying, obviously that means you could probably make the cutscenes third person. You already know what Chris and Jill look like, so you could just literally make the cutscenes third person and put it back into a first person perspective for the gameplay. But I really do feel like a first person version would be better than a third person RE engine version. The best example I can think of, honestly, is Resident Evil 7. The Baker house, especially the first part of the game, it's very tight, it's very compact. A few molded spawn in and they're very difficult to deal with sometimes, mainly because of how spongy they are. But you're not, like, swarmed by, like, 3 or 4 or 5. There's, like, 1 or 2, and you're already kind of struggling to kill them. You can't get around them as easy, and it really does make it intense, and I think the first-person perspective would work so much better with the original game, mainly because of the mansion's layout. Of course, there are other things the game could, you know, improve on with a remake, especially in the RE engine. As we know, the RE engine looks very, very good. And it goes without saying that the original game would look incredible. I can even picture in my mind what the main hall of the mansion would look like in the RE engine, and it would be incredible. The gameplay would be a bit smoother as well, and, you know, I think a lot of what's in the original Resident Evil game doesn't need to be changed. You know, there's something that is kind of questionable nowadays. It's all very simple. The puzzles are good. The inventory system I really like. I really do like the limited inventory system in, you know, Resident Evil 1, 2, 3 and 7. I think it's better than the attached case personally, but that's just my kind of preference on how I play the games. You know, even the remake that we have, it added stuff to the game that isn't in the original. Like, I played the original recently, and it came as a bit of a shock. Like, I've played the original before, but it hasn't been for a while, and it came for a bit of a shock. I was expecting things that happen in the remake to happen in the original, and they don't. So, the original does add a lot on to the original game anyway, so remaking the remake would just be a bit unnecessary to me. The biggest complaint I see about the current remake is just how you have to play on fixed camera and how the controls are a bit weird. If you played the original, this is nowhere near as bad control-wise as that. It's actually pretty good. Fixed camera angles, it's all down to kind of personal opinion. There's another new game that came out, well, not new anymore, but like, it was new maybe a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, I'm not sure. Called Tormented Souls. That was a new game in a fixed camera perspective, and it was good. It was really good. You know, the camera wasn't a problem for me, so I think that really does come down to kind of preference, and I think if you give it a go, like if you haven't played the remake yet of the Resident Evil game, the original game, play it, give it a go. I promise you it doesn't play as bad as you think, and if fixed camera angles are the issue, bear with it, because it'll, an hour in, 2 hours in, it'll become second nature, and you'll know how to deal with it, and it honestly doesn't really affect the gameplay that much, in my opinion. Another thing, again, that will be improved in the remake is the voice acting. Even in the original and the remake, the voice acting is questionable. I think it's part of the charm of the original game now, and obviously if there was a remake they would change it and make it better. But again, it's interesting. I think the whole conversation about a remake of a remake is ridiculous. I think they don't need to do it again. There are other games in the series that need that attention more so than this. This still is incredible to play. It's fun to play. I love going back to it every now and again. And, you know, I'm happy with it as it is. Would I be complaining if they did it Probably not. I would probably play it and buy it anyway. So, you know, at the end of the day, it's pointless. But I personally would rather them remake something else, or at this point just work on a new game instead. I think we do need a break from remakes, and I do want to make a video about that soon. But for now, that's kind of my thoughts on a Resident Evil remake. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Do you want to see a newer version of this game? Do you like it how it is? Whatever your thoughts on the current kind of conversation is, let me know. Thank you all for watching. Remember to leave a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe to the channel if you are new and want to see more Resident Evil content. Thank you all for coming by, and as always, I'll catch you in the next video.